Well, hello and welcome back. Once again, Sunday night racing action on tap for you. The RFC NEXTGEN K&N Series being brought to you by Light Electric Company here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Want to say thanks to each and every one of you joining us here tonight and every single Sunday night. Got myself and my good buddy Cody up in the booth with me one more time. He's going to be brave enough to take on the cave one more time here at a great short track. Cody, how you doing?
Dave, I'm just fine, man. I'm excited. Race number 2, fans. If you missed out on what happened last time out at Iowa, then you completely missed an amazing race. And Dave, tonight the track is just a little bit more action-filled. And the last time this series was here, it was a really good race. I think for race number 2, we're going to see a lot of real tight racing. But this is your short track kind of feel, so maybe some tempers flaring after last week, and there was some tempers flaring after Iowa.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a heck of a start of the season for these guys. As you mentioned, we were at Iowa last time we were on the track. Another short track here tonight in Richmond. Then we're going to step out to Atlanta, which you know how Atlanta is, always really brutal on the tires, really rough racing at times at Atlanta. Then we're heading off into a road course for race number 4 of the season. So, I mean, these drivers hit with some very technical and difficult tracks early in the season. And, man, it's I don't even know who's going to come out the victor here tonight. A lot of the speed charts look pretty close to each other. Looking through timing and scoring, looks like our top 3 all within about a hundredth of each other or so. So, I mean, Cody, the action's going to be tight. The racing's going to be tight. The timing and scoring is tight. Just going to be a heck of a night.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, last week we seen Steve Baker, well, last race, I should say, not last week. Week before last, we celebrated Father's Day last week. Week before last, Steve Baker came away with a win. By no means, Dave. We watched that whole race. If you would have looked at me and said, hey, Steve Baker's going to win this race, I would have looked back at you and said, just how deep are your pockets? But he ended up coming away with a win after some late race contact. That just shows you here in the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Series, anything can happen. And I really feel like here in this race at Richmond, this is another one of those places where the door is wide open for someone.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Especially at short tracks, you know how it goes. You get down to the end, and somebody may just choose to move you out the way to go for the race win. And I can't fault them, and most other drivers wouldn't fault them, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, especially at these short tracks. And as we've got about a little over 3 minutes, a little less than 4 actually minutes remaining here in a happy hour, going to give you some of the official points standings coming into race number 2. As you already mentioned, Cody, Steve Baker walking away with the win 2 weeks ago, and Iowa so put him on top of your point standings. Chris Mefford sitting right there in second. Lance Yancey, great showing out of that 77 machine. Going to be sitting in the 3rd spot in the points. Tyler Hilton in 4th. Brian Littleton in 5th. Gordon Larson Jr. sitting in 6th. Jeffrey Vandervoort in 7th. Derek Robinson 8th. Roy Hyde in 9th. Rounding out your top 10 in the points, Brian Snare. And it's all a very close points battle, obviously, because there's only one race in the books. But I can promise you the races here, Cody, in the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA K&N Series are always important. No chase format. So it's old school style where every point in every single race matters. So we can look forward to close points battles all throughout the season.
Yeah, and I mean, prime example, last year, the top 2. Man, Dave, it came down to the final race of the year and some bad luck at the end of that season to give away that championship. But you're seeing drivers, I really feel like this year, you're seeing some guys that are starting to creep towards the tier of the top of the standings. A guy that I brag on, I feel like each week, is Tyler Hilton. This guy's yet to pick up a win in his RFC NEXTGEN K&N Series career, but he just keeps getting closer and closer. And last week, he was 2 turns away from that happening before some contact. But you mentioned the point standings. There was actually some penalty points issued after that Iowa race.
Yeah, and that's something that, we don't always take into account when we're looking at the race results at the end Do keep in mind they're always unofficial, as sometimes penalties are handed out and drivers are relegated to a different finishing position from that. So, yeah, you just got to kind of keep that in mind, bear with it, and kind of is what it is at sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, tempers are going to flare. You're going to see that everywhere you go. Sometimes it's the driver that can stay cool and calm is the one that's going to prevail, and just so happened last week it was Steve Baker's turn to be cool and calm.
That it was, and it's going to be my turn to be cool and calm for about a 60-second break here. We're going to step away, pay a couple of the bills. You know how it is. You got to pay them bills, but nonetheless, we're going to be back with all your qualifying action live here from Richmond International Raceway here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Back live here at Richmond International Raceway. Drivers have begun to get to their cars to set their fast times here tonight. We'll see who can walk away with a pole position out here for tonight's Samantha Mills 154 liver disease, being brought to you by, I believe, Cody, that I believe this is Thomas's sponsored race. I believe I could be wrong on that one though.
Yeah, I do believe, and it's another one of these races that we're going to see that really has a great cause behind it.
That it does, as drivers have begun to hit the track. We'll jump out there and keep our eye on that 93 of Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. as he heads off into turn 1 for the first time under his first time lap. A lot of other drivers also out there on track. Tyler Hilton, Brandon Combs. Looks like Lance Yancey, Travis Arthur also out there. Brandon Meffert, now Troy Radford. That fast 49. He was fast all year last year, Cody. And look for him to try to put it on the pole position here again. Top of the speed charts goes Radford.
Yeah, Radford goes to the top of the speed charts, and I'm telling you what, he is well known for being up at one of our fast qualifying spots. As we see those cars start to come out on the track, second quick right now, Thomas Light. He's second quick. Third quickest is Tyler Hilton.
We're going to switch back now with the 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. as he begins his timed laps. Hasn't put in a time just yet on the board, waiting to come around this time by out of 4. Sliding up towards that outside wall, crossing the stripe this time by. Where is he going to shake out for his first time lap? Only good enough for 11th, so he's got a lot of ground to make up if he's going to dethrone Thomas Light, who has taken that pole position away, and Brian Mescal Jr. going to call it an end to his qualifying. We'll jump out there now with Chuck Mobley as he makes his way around the track in his 76 machine.
I will say I love the paint scheme that's on the side of that number 33 for Brian Mescal Jr. this week. One of the cooler paint schemes we've seen so far in this young season.
Yeah, that's something you can look forward to. These drivers do switch up their paint schemes. I wouldn't say every race, but every few races you can look for some drivers to be in some new paint schemes and liveries out there, showing respect and sponsorship to certain organizations and things of that nature. But Chuck Mobley not looking too hot right now. Looks like he's a little bit slow coming out of turn 4. Going to cross the stripe that time by. Let's see where he shakes out. Good enough for 6th. So good run there by Chuck Mobley. Jumping back now with the 12 of Ryan Wilson as he's on his timed laps.
Yeah, Ryan Wilson out there making laps. I do want to make note that Troy Radford has gone second quickest. He is just 0.02 of a second behind our pole sitter right now, Thomas Light. So Troy Radford second quick here in this qualifying session.
And as I alluded to in happy hour there, Cody, I believe the times are going to be very, very close here in qualifying as nobody out on the track right now. As we've got about 17 drivers slotted in with time still, about 10 more drivers out there left to put in qualifying laps. Travis Pryor, Roy Hyde, Dustin Ping, Rick Reiner, David Smith Jr., Eric Blount has yet to try his hand here in qualifying. So a little over half the field already on their on the speed charts got their qualifying laps in. We'll have to stick it out, wait and see if anybody else is going to go out there and try to put down a time lap. But interesting to see Roy Hyde sitting right there at the end of pit road, just hanging out, waiting to go, I guess, waiting for, well, I don't know if you're going to get a cloud. It's nighttime. I don't know if these spotters can see the clouds or not.
They say some of these spotters, Dave, have the eyes of eagles. So if you're spotting from way up atop one of these racetracks, you have to be pretty good as far as vision. But, you know, this is something, Dave, that we've seen. We've seen these drivers lay around, some of them not even make a qualifying attempt.
Yeah, I mean, some drivers, they choose to come from the back of the field. They choose to work their way up through the field. Sometimes that can be a blessing, and sometimes it can be a nightmare, 50-50 roll of the dice there. A lot of people and crew chiefs want to say you want to be in front of the trouble and not behind it, but sometimes in the front is where the trouble's at anyway. So it's just one of those rolls of the dice, and unfortunately myself, I'm always wrong.
We learned last time out that the front isn't always the place to be.
That is absolutely true. But right now, qualifying halfway over, Thomas Light sitting on top of the speed charts right now in that pole position. Troy Radford just behind him. Brandon Medford sitting in third. Tyler Hilton fourth. And Brian Littleton returning back to the Sunday night series. Hasn't been running the Sunday nights in a few seasons, so good to see that 80 machine back out there on track and inside the top 5. Trying to keep my eye on the track as well right now, Cody. And it looks like nobody going out for their qualifying laps, with only about 4 minutes remaining. So these drivers going to have to get on the ball if they're going to get it done at all.
Well, I can't promise you anybody's going to go back out, but if somebody's going to go back out, I think it's going to be Travis Pryor. He was second quickest in final practice there just a little bit ago. I've got to think that 02 machine's going to go back out there. We talked about him being kind of the short track ace coming from the super late model asphalt series to these ARCA Menard K&N Series cars. I feel like he's going to be the ones that might go out here late to try to get in, but right now 17 cars have hit the track. I was taking a look at some of the surprises in that list. One of the rookies, Jimmy Hetrick, in his 48 Lowe's machine. He's 11th quickest right now, 23.068 on the board, just outside of the top 10, and only his second start in this series.
Yeah, the rookies definitely showing their weight here in the RFC NEXTGEN K&N ARCA Menard Series. Man, that is an absolute mouthful.
That's why you make the big bucks, buddy.
I don't know about all that. Nonetheless, right at the 7-minute mark now, 3 minutes remaining here in qualifying. So we're going to go ahead, step away from track side, pay a couple more of the bills, then head back down for the pre-race festivities, the singing of the national anthem. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Back trackside here at Richmond International Raceway for race number 2 in the RFC Next Gen Arca Menards K&N Series. Brought to you by Light Electric Company. Tonight's race, the Samantha Mills 150, being brought to you by Mike Massengill. Your starting lineup gonna look a little something like this. Let's see if we get it up there. And yep, wouldn't you know, Dave messing things up once again. There you go. Got it where it needs to be. Pole position here for tonight's race at Richmond International Raceway. The 98 of Thomas Light. Starting to his outside, the 49 of Troy Radford, row number 2. Brandon Medford and Tyler Hilton, row number 3. Brian Littleton and Chuck Mobley, row number 4. Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. and Lance Yancey rounding out your top 10. The 84 of Chris Mefford and the 34 of Doug Wasaki.
Rolling into row number 6, it'll be the 48 of Jimmy Hetrick and the 57 of Damon Cox. Row number 7 on the inside, the 01 of Gordon Larson Jr. and to his outside, the 33 of Brian Miskell Jr. make up row number 7. Row number 8, it'll be the 86 of Travis Arthur, and to his outside, the number 12 of Ryan Wilson. Row number 9, it'll be the 28 of Brandon Combs. Dustin Ping will be on the outside of row 9. Row number 10, the 47 of Ray Radford, and to his outside, the 71 of Jason Edmonston.
And starting in the 21st position, the 02 of Travis Pryor, followed by the 08 of David Smith Jr. Starting in row number 12, Dustin Ping and Joshua Caudle. Where was I? Oh yeah, 25th starting position, Eric Blount and Brian Snare. Coming in 26th, 27th will be Jason Edmonston, 28th Adam Novak, 29th Ryan Ewing, followed by Michael Massengill and his 4 machine, and rounding out your field here tonight at Richmond International Raceway for the Samantha Mills 150 for liver disease, the 47 of Ray Radford. And Cody, man, these drivers getting ready to mix it up. Things gonna happen out there on track, and just like they're gonna mix it up, I'm sure I'm gonna mix it up a couple more times. It's not a night unless Dave messes up, you know what I mean? So might as well go ahead and do it now, get it out the way. What do you think?
Hey, it's a part of it. It's going to be something for everybody. But hey, listen, race fans, 150 laps on the board tonight. We're going to watch some exciting racing. Buckle up, and we're glad to have you here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
That we are, as the Ford Mustang pace car lights have went out for the first time here tonight at Richmond International Raceway. That 98 of Thomas Light set to bring the field to the green flag here. Pace car down and away on pit road in the restart box, waiting for the flagman. Green flag in the air here tonight for the first time at Richmond International Raceway. Thomas Light still maintaining that bottom position. Looks like most of the field is well and cleared through turn number 1. Thomas Light does have Hilton right on his rear bumper. Drivers still side by side all the way back through the field. Now Tyler Hilton going to take that second spot. Brandon Medford slotting in third easily. Brian Littleton moving to fourth.
Yeah, Brian Littleton, a man on the move. He's up to fourth, working the bottom of the racetrack. Hits by Lance Yancey and Chuck Mobley. He's up to fourth. But Dave, we see a swap for the lead. Here comes Tyler Hilton off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. That 82 machine leads the charge into turn 3.
And caution out for the first time here tonight. Looks like Brandon Combs, Joshua Caudle, and Troy Radford caught up in this early one. We'll have to take a look back. There you see some of the drivers with some issues, so we'll see if we can't catch up with the guys. They say they got it. Let's take a look with our turn 3 replay. Looking back now at that 94 of Joshua Caudle, everything seems to be all right at this point in time. High, wide. Oh, and it happened just in front of him, so we'll go back, take another look at that from the vantage point with Brandon Combs. You see the 12 a little bit sideways in front of him. Drivers checking up, not able to check up enough. 29 involved. Ooh, man, tough break for a few of the drivers out there very early. Looks like Brandon Combs, Joshua Caudle, Troy Radford, as well as Rick Reinert, all involved in this latest one. As we rejoin the race back up at the front, Tyler Hilton behind the pace car has the field in tow.
Yeah, and Dave, we saw this happen just 2 weeks ago at Iowa. There was a really big pileup early in that race, kind of shook up the tail end of the field, but, kind of anxious. Everybody's wanting the bottom of the racetrack. I know right now it looks like everybody's wanting the bottom groove. The last time we were here with the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series, Dave, I felt like there was 2 distinctive grooves. Right now we just got to wait on these cars to put some rubber down to see if we can get that second groove established.
Yeah, gonna take a little bit of time to put some rubber down on the track. This track has been known to rubber up, but it does take quite a bit of green flag running to start putting that very distinct line of rubber down, and that's when I think we'll begin to see some of those 2 different lines, especially through 3 and 4. I personally like to roll the high side a little bit more than most other drivers, so we should see some of that come into play here tonight should we get those long green flag runs and be able to get the rubber down on the racetrack.
Yeah, Dave, and I'm hearing in my headset, they're saying that Michael Macegill, sponsor of the race tonight, looks like he is not going to be able to get out there on the track. So a tough break for that number 4 machine. Looks like he will be the first casualty of tonight's festivities here at Richmond.
Yeah, and I think a few more drivers are actually going to end up caught out, especially after that very, very early incident. I believe Travis Pryor may have some issues as well. Very, very long time on pit road for that 02 machine. Ryan Ewing also being shown a lap down already. Very long time on and off pit road for him as well. So a few drivers going behind the 8 ball very early here as we're only on lap number 6, but we still have to reach lap 150, so a very long time for these drivers to try to make up for the mishaps early. And aero's not always as important here at this short track as you may think, as it is like at a Charlotte or definitely a Michigan or a Chicago. Aero is very, very important. Here at the short track, the somewhat banked corners, you don't really have to have the whole front clip, but it sure does help.
Yeah, I do agree with that. We just now seeing coming off pit road, Troy Radford in 49 car. May have some damage or he's trying to make some extra adjustments. He's 25th right now. Lights are out on the pace car. We're getting ready to go back green, and when we get ready to go back green, we'll put 7 laps in the books of this 150-lap feature tonight. Samantha Mills 150 to battle liver disease. And once again, I mentioned in the pre-race, a great cause for this RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series to support. Dave, we stacking them up 2 by 2 with 3 and 4, and we get ready to go back green.
Pace car down and away away on the pit road. Tyler Hilton has the field in tow and back on the gas, and away we go. Green flag in the air once again. Brandon Medford trying to follow suit on that inside line. Looks like he's going to slot himself just in front of your pole sitter, Thomas Light, who's now got Brian Littleton right there nipping at the heels. But here comes Lance Yancey, and that's 77 down the inside.
Lance Yancey wants the inside. He's going to go after it as they battle in 3 and 4. He's in the 5th spot. He's trying to creep on the back door of Brian Littleton. He'll make the move, and that means Yancey's going to have the position in turns 1 and 2. He hugs the yellow line as they drive around Richmond Raceway.
Still holding strong on that outside lane is that 80 of Brian Littleton as he regains that 4th position, now slotting just in front of Lance Yancey. The charge to the front didn't quite pan out the way that Lance wanted to, but he has improved his starting position by 3 spots. So very good run here early on the restart field. Looks like it's beginning to get mostly single file back through, I believe, the top 20, all single file now.
Man, it's like a short track scrub back here for Roy Hyde, Doug Wasaki, and Derek Robinson. How about 11th, 12th, 13th? They were all over each other, almost. Gordon Larson Jr. just about ate the infield wall, but they're trying to sort it out. But we've got some heavy racing going on for 11th all the way back to 15th.
Yeah, taking a little look here real quick, back around Roy Hyde, Doug Wasaki, Derek Robinson, Eric Blount making a move on the outside of Damon Cox off of 4. Gonna have the spot at the line as we continue green flag racing, and even further behind them, the driver's still mixing it up just a little bit, starting to get a little more single file and work things out. But man, oh man, back here for 20th, 21st, Gordon Larson Jr. involved with a battle with Adam Novak as well as Gordon Larson Jr. So battles all over this great short track.
Yeah, and in the meantime, our leaders are just peeling away, almost a half a track away. Right now, Tyler Hilton sets the pace. Brandon Medford second. Thomas Light third, as coming to putt lap 13 in the books. 14 of our 150-lap feature here from Richmond Raceway. We thank you for joining us on the Turn 3 Racing Network, RFC Next Gen, Arca Menards K&N Series, race number 2 here from Richmond.
Going to rejoin the front of the field as Tyler Hilton has got Brandon Medford still just a little bit behind him, right about a half a second separate your top 2. Another half a second or so back to your 3rd place runner, Thomas Light, who's got Brian Littleton breathing on his gearbox right there on the rear bumper. We'll focus in a little bit on this battle as Lance Yancey, he's going to slowly creep in onto the gearbox of that 80 machine, because we do know once you get battling, it does allow those drivers behind you to start making up a little bit of time. And then just behind Lance Yancey, you've got Chuck Mobley, Chris Medford, Brian Mescal Jr. Those 3 drivers emblazed in a trio, a tango back there. I mean, just everywhere there's action.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. That's exactly where I was going. We've got a battle. Chris Medford is battling all over Chuck Mobley's back bumper, and Brian Mescal Jr.'s got that 33 Mountain Dew machine ready to pounce as they dive off into turns 1 and 2. Nose to tail. Now a little bit of a bobble by Mobley. He gets off the bottom. It's going to open the door. Will it be enough for Medford? He's going to go to the bottom. Not enough there. He's going to hang on to that spot and follow Mobley into the turn.
While we were watching this battle unfold here as Chuck Mobley now loses that position to Chris Medford. Thomas Light, your pole sitter, now dropping another spot as Brian Littleton has been able to get by him and take away that 3rd spot. Now Lance Yancey looking to try to see if he can't get by Light. And looky here, Roy Hyde. After that scrum back there around 11th or 12th, he has caught up to this trio of cars right there on the rear end of Brian Mescal Jr.
First, we got to give Roy a shout-out. Checkle Controls, one of our proud sponsors here of the RFC Next Gen Arca Menards K&N Series. He is prowling. He's inside of the top 10 now, sandwiched between Brian Mescal Jr. and Jimmy Hetrick, who's in the 10th spot in that Lowe's Chevrolet. Eric Blunt is there in the 11th spot as we keep 20 laps. We put 20 laps in the board. Now here we go. Brian Mescal Jr., he dives to the bottom. He goes under Mobley. He's going to bring Roy Hyde with him. No, Hyde can't capitalize.
Hyde not able to follow through the hole, but now looking into turn number 3. Looks like he's going to take that spot. Lance Yancey able to take the spot away from Thomas Light. Put Light back another position just on that 5th spot, just inside the top 5, but he has got some very hungry drivers on the way behind him. Roy Hyde able to make the pass on Chuck Mobley, so move him up to the 8th position. Roy with a big jump on the starting grid. Looks like he's improved his spot about, what is that? I believe that is 10 spots. And then just behind him, Eric Blunt, man, that's 15 spots.
They are on a movement right now. Brandon Medford has broke out the fishing rod. He's all over the back bumper. 3 car lengths now, the distance between first and second. As Dave, we break into one of these long green flag runs. We usually see a couple of these here at Richmond, but it looks like this long green flag run, Brandon Medford's got that 83 machine dialing in. Now he's within 2 car lengths of our leader, Tyler Hilton.
Distance definitely closing at the front of the field. Medford right there breathing down the neck of your race leader. Brian Littleton in that 80 machine, that Michelob Ultra chromed out Chevy ARCA Menards K&N Series car, looking sweet out there. Looks like he's slowly starting to reel in those top 2 as well. But Cody, we're about to get into the portion of the run where lap traffic may become an issue. There you see a slower car trying to move on out of the way of the race leaders. The 47 of Ray Radford trying to stay out of the way. And I think this is going to be a theme we're going to start to see unfold under the next 5 to 10 laps. Is your race leaders running into lap traffic? Because, Cody, if you look just in front of your race leader, I mean, they're less than a straightaway probably away from being in some very heavy lap traffic.
Yeah, Dave, when it comes to short track racing of any kind, short traffic or short lap traffic is usually what makes these short track races really interesting. And man, oh man, talking about interesting, the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th is now anybody's race, as now Brian Littleton has a rearview mirror full of Lance Yancey, and he's got Chris Medford breathing on his tailpipes.
And I think a little bit of that is a product to do with the slower lap machine of Ray Radford, kind of load up the momentum of Brian Littleton for a minute. That brought Lance Yancey along, and then that in turn brought Chris Medford as well. Roy Hyde just back behind these 2 drivers trying to make his way by. Thomas Light was able to get by Brian Mescal Jr. So when these drivers run up on these slower cars, they got to kind of go where they ain't, and they got to go there before they know they're going there. Looking to the inside now on Brian Littleton is Chris Medford, going to give him the position down the backstretch into turn 3. No problem putting Medford up to 3rd.
Here comes Lance Yancey. The door's open underneath Littleton. He's going to knock himself into that 4th spot. Once the door gets open, Dave, I feel like anybody that's close will take advantage of it. And right now, Brian Littleton is the outside man looking in. But the battle for the lead now make it less than a car length. Tyler Hilton holding off Brandon Medford, coming to 30 laps in the books this time by.
30 laps in the book this time by, 121 laps remaining here at Richmond International Raceway. Tyler Hilton still leading the field. Brandon Medford all over him, trying to take that top spot away as they inch closer and closer to the rear of the field. Going to begin to put some more cars 1 lap down here in the next 10 laps or so as they continue battling up at the front. And they are battling all over this racetrack. Look at this scrum back here. Thomas Light, Roy Hyde, Brian Mescal Jr., Eric Blount, all right there. Chuck Mobley just behind them. So we've got about a 4-car battle going on right now, and that goes all the way from 3rd position back to 9th. So that's more of about 6 cars, but you know I can't count.
Yeah, it's all right, Dave. We've got exciting racing all the way around this racetrack. We thank you for joining us here at Richmond Raceway, race number 2 of the young season. And, you know, something that is the next big element. We talk about lap traffic. We are creeping in on what could be some green flag pit stops coming up, as now Tyler Hilton is at the back bumper of that lap traffic. He's working on the first official tail end car of Ray Radford. He's on his back bumper going into 1 and 2.
Going into 1 and 2 right there, trying to take the spot away from Brian Littleton now is that 6 of Eric Blount. So put Blount up through the field another spot, put him into 7th as Roy Hyde slots in 6th. Thomas Light falling from the pole position back to the 5th spot as your front two still battling it out, losing a little bit of touch with Tyler Hilton is Brandon Mefford, but he is still hunting him down.
Yeah, and you got to be thinking, too, these drivers, their crew chiefs are in their ear telling them we're coming up on some green flag pit stops soon. Stay on the lead lap as long as you can. Dave, we all know if you're on the lead lap at the end of these things, you can have a possibility, but you don't want to go a lap down. And as I say that, it looks like Tyler Hilton is going to work under the next car of Jason Edmonston. He's not going to let him go. Maybe he will going into turn 3 and the bottom's open.
Yeah, and that's when you're in a little bit of I hate to say a little bit of a pickle because it's old school, but you're in a really rough spot there if you're the 71 of Jason Edmondson. You want to race as hard as you can to try to stay on the lead lap, not just to stay on the lead lap, but look just in front of them. It's not going to be a whoa, big moment there. Off of 4 for Brandon Medford, a little bit sideways, catches the car, but as I was saying, you want to race hard to try to keep yourself as that first car 1 lap down, as Tyler Hilton now being able to scoot away from Brandon Mefford after that little bit of a sideways exit off of turn number 2.
I don't know about you, Dave, but if you notice, Thomas Light kind of went backwards to begin with, but now he has started to heat up. He's all over the back bumper of Lance Yancey. Of course, he was our pole sitter tonight. Maybe he was saving a little bit on this first run, but now he's starting to work on the back bumper of Lance Yancey, and that battle is for the 4th spot.
Well, you got to keep in mind the tire model on these RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series cars. The first few laps, you can really destroy your tires the first few laps if you go out there and just try to hammer down and get everything that you can those first few laps. You can really, really burn up the right front or that right rear, depending on how the setup is made for the car. And maybe Thomas just being extra cautious of that, knowing what the car is going to do over a long run. I do remember seeing Thomas out there on a very long run in happy hour. So maybe he knows what the car's going to do. Maybe he's just taking an easy biding some time as he now looks to the inside of Lance Yancey. Going to have a 3-wide battle with a lap machine. Now make it back 2 wide. Light not able to make the pass just yet, but right there on that 77's rear bumper.
Yeah, 3 wide out of turn 2 at Richmond. No, I don't think so. Lap car moves out of the way smartly, but he opens the door, and he's going to give momentum to Thomas Light. He dives down deep into 1 and 2, holds on to it. Almost what they call in the dirt world a slide job, but he held on to it. Great momentum, great timing. And Lance Yancey now, he's got Roy Hyde. Hyde's going to battle to the bottom, and Lance Yancey he's now the driver on the outside looking in.
And we've seen this play out a few times over the course of these first 42 laps here in the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series. If you get rooted up out of that bottom, and there's another car within even a car and a half worth of distance, he's going to shove it down in there and try to keep you pinned up at the top of the track and not being able to put the power down off the exits of the corner. As, I mean, just like that, Lance Yancey drops from 4th all the way to 7th just from being moved up out of that bottom groove.
Yeah, and I mean, it's no man's land. When you get sucked up, oh, and contact! Chris Mefford almost has trouble out of turn 4, gets into it with a lap machine. It looked like Travis Arthur. They just simply came together off turn 4 and a scary moment. Oh, and around goes Arthur. He's into the infield wall in the back straightaway. Still no caution yet, but that Monster Energy machine definitely has some trouble. It looks like he's going to try to creep the pit road. No, he's going to stay out on the racetrack.
Yeah, tough moment there for Travis Arthur going around on the backstretch. Doesn't look like there was too heavy of contact between that 84 and Arthur. 84 still looks pretty straight, pretty clean, but a big-time moment there for Chris Medford. That's going to put him well behind your front runners. Your top 2 still Tyler Hilton and Brandon Medford, as Medford has slowly begun to reel back in. Hilton, after that slide off of 2 that he had probably about 15 or so laps ago, as Tyler Hilton beginning to work his way back into some more lap traffic. He's running up on the gearbox of Damon Cox, David Smith Jr., and then Adam Novak just in front of them.
Yeah, Dave, and the leader still into lap traffic. Damon Cox moves up, opens the door for Tyler Hilton to go to the bottom. He will do so. He's trying to look. I can't get the binoculars zoomed in good enough to check the right side of that Brandon Medford car. It doesn't look like any damage, but man, the contact he had just a few moments ago with the lap car. Scary moment. The caution flag is out. Caution flag flies.
Caution flag on the track, and it looks like the 77 is backwards in turn number 1. That is going to spell some trouble for him, so we'll take a look with our turn 3 replay, see what happened here to Lance Yancey. Looks like coming off of turn 2 up into the wall just a little bit. Looks like he got stuck to it. Oh, Brian Mescal Jr. right into the rear end. That's going to send the 77 around into turn number 3. Oh, my goodness. Let's take one more look at that. Well, maybe if I could hit the button in time, and it doesn't look like I'm smart enough to work it sometimes, folks. Here we go. There it is. I knew I'd get it eventually. Brian Mescal Jr. bearing down on Lance Yancey after getting unstuck off of that wall. Contact, and around he goes, and Brian Mescal Jr.'s hood was up in the air. Look at it right there. That 33 driving blind on the track with the hood right up on that windshield. Definitely depending on his spotter for this one. My goodness. I wonder if he hits the brakes, if that hood is going to flop back down so he'll be able to see. There it goes. It went back down. I would say no harm, no foul, but that is definitely going to be some rough sledding for Brian Mescal Jr. after that heavy contact. And we will rejoin the race back live at the front. Chris Medford will reassume the race lead after pit stops.
Yeah, Dave, it looks like Chris Medford might have maybe had the best pit stop of the entire session, because he pretty much came from 3rd to 1st. Tyler Hilton 2nd. He was the leader going into pit road. Brandon Medford was 2nd. He's going to come out 3rd. And as I look down the running order, don't look now, but Troy Radford has jumped into the top 10. We thought he was having some trouble early in this race. He's going to come off of pit road in 9th. So put Troy Radford 9th, Dustin Ping 10th, but now it's Chris Medford. He's going to put that 82 car of Tyler Hilton in a little bit of dirty air, and just as I say that, Chris Medford dives onto pit road, so maybe trying to get some bonus points.
Yeah, in his pit stop looks like 8.2 seconds, so it looks like maybe he only got 2 tires, or maybe actually was rolling the dice, going to stay out. Thought better of it, brought it down pit road, and I mean, Medford, he was one of the faster drivers also out there on track. I believe he was slotted in the 3rd position just behind Brandon Medford before that caution flag flew. So that's going to put him deep in the field. We'll have to keep our eye out for Chris and see how he makes his way back up through the field. And, man, just like you said, Troy Radford breaking into the top 10, sitting in the 8th position after some early trouble here today. So that just goes to show you that if you're willing to stick it out and grind out each and every point, it can be worth it, as Radford now sitting inside that top 10.
Yeah, and not sure what was going on, maybe with the 49 early in the race. We just seen him go back to pit road earlier. I don't think he was involved in that first accident, but maybe just wanted to get another adjustment in as we're early in. As 52 laps now complete, 150 laps make up the 2nd race of our 2020 season. It's the Samantha Mills 150. And we thank you for joining us tonight. Of course, this race, the Samantha Mills 150 for liver disease, presented by Mike Mason-Gill. He had some trouble early in this race, not able to compete, but we do appreciate you joining us tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Absolutely, we do. We appreciate you coming in each each and every time that you do, whether you're just stopping by, stopping through, you come every week. We appreciate each and every time you check in with us here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Cody in the booth with me, the Outlaw KR Stolfus, Muth in the booth, Chris Legue, Rick Hammond, Danny Valenzuela, any of the guys and gals back there at Turn 3 Racing Network, we all appreciate each and every time you come and join us track side. And as always, man, we love you. I mean, how much nicer do I need to say it?
I think that's perfect. Let's stack them up 2 by 2. 53 laps will be complete this time by when the Ford Mustang pace car comes off. We are inside now of that 100 laps to go. Side by side, definitely the fastest 2 cars in the first quarter of this race. Tyler Hilton, Brandon Meffert, Thomas Light, Roy Hyde, the top 4. We're back green in Richmond.
Back green in Richmond. Once again, your race leader fires off. Outside line getting a little bit better start that time was Brandon Medford, able to keep pace. Gonna slot down just in front of that 98 of Thomas Light as he has slowly made a charge back to the front of the field. Now looking to the outside of Eric Blunt is that 00 of Roy Hyde. Hyde up into the top 5, and don't look now, Radford knocking on the door of the top 5.
49 car had a whale of a restart. He's got that USS Chevrolet dialed in. He's going to work on the back bumper of Roy Hyde. Now he's to the inside of Hyde, going down the back straightaway.
Down the back straightaway, side by side for a brief moment. Whoa, just behind Radford. Chuck Mobley and Dustin Bean almost had a big-time moment here as the field continues. Green flag racing off into turn number 1. Looks like one driver down and through the grass behind the field. Jimmy Hedrick off track for a brief moment. Able to correct it and corral it, get it going back in the right direction. Now Hyde looking to make the pass on Thomas Light. Troy Radford looking to follow through on the inside.
Here comes Troy Radford following the 00 of Roy Hyde. Now Radford into the top 5. It's Eric Blunt and Roy Hyde, and just in front of him, that battle for the lead. Still a car length. Tyler Hilton and Brandon Mefford have definitely been the class of the field so far, with Tyler Hilton leading 54 laps of the 57 so far.
Hilton very, very comfortable up there at the front of the field, and I wouldn't blame him. That's where I like to be as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't always pan out for me, but it's not about me. It's about these guys here in the RFC NEXTGEN Arc Menards K&N Series, being brought to you by Light Electric Company, as well as Jet Controls 946 Designs. RFC NEXTGEN. Oh my Lord, there's so many other ones to name out there. I know I'm going to forget some, so I'll just stop and let them all be mad at me.
Oh, the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now put Troy Radford up into the 4th spot as he gets around Roy Hyde. He tries to stalk down the top 3, and the caution flag flies again.
Caution flag out. Looks like the 08 of David Schmidt Jr. involved in this one as he gets his machine headed back in the right direction. We'll take a real quick look at this on our Turn 3 replay. Looks like just behind a few drivers in front of him, a little bit of contact coming out of Turn 2, sideways trying to save it. Getting a little bit crossed up, no contact with any walls or any other cars. So fortunately for that 08 of David Smith Jr., he's going to be able to catch up to the rear of the field and not really too hurt here. I mean, maybe some feelings or something, or pride, but not the car.
As we sat here and we watched the replays, Dave, you know what they say about cautions. Cautions breed cautions. And right now, if you're in the top 5 of this race, I don't think you want to see a bunch of cautions start popping out, because I feel like the top 5 right now really have what I like to call a long-run car, as we got some cars rolling onto pit road.
Yeah, cars rolling onto pit road here. This is going to split some of the fuel and tire strategy, and, well, I need a drink strategy going on. So, Cody, we're going to take a brief commercial break. We'll be back here before the green flag flies for all of your live racing action. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
We got big-time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage.
Looks like your car is toast. You'll need a tow back to pit lane. Press and hold your reset button and we'll come and get you.
And see, I promise you, wouldn't be gone for very long. Back before the pace car lights have even had a chance to go out. I believe they will be going out this time, though. So great timing by the producers back there to bring it all back to us as those Ford Mustang pace car lights have gone out. Field will begin to get double file. We will get set to fire things off once again here from Richmond International Raceway. And the Samantha Mills 154 liver disease, sponsored by Mike Massengill Field. Now double file going down the back stretch. And man, Cody, I can't wait to see what this restart holds for us. The restarts have been getting closer and closer as the battles and gaps get closer and closer as well.
I agree. And now you got Troy Radford outside of row number 2. They stack them up. 64 laps will be complete this time by side of the top 2. On the loud pedals, Tyler Hilton leads the field back to green. Here comes Eric Blunt. Blunt takes advantage of a great restart. He's in second, and he's got the preferred line. Here comes Roy Hyde. Where did he come from? He's up to third.
Hyde up to third using that inside lane. Radford looking to follow through. Brandon Medford looks like he's stuck on that outside lane. Roy Hyde now pulling just in front of the bumper of Brandon Medford. Now Troy Radford trying to fill that inside hole of not let Medford by. Give the position to Radford.
Man, oh man, what a terrible restart for Brandon Medford. He's back to 5th, and he's getting ready to be in a hornet's nest. Here comes Thomas Light, Dustin Pink, Ryan Littleton. They battle at a 3 and 4, and don't look, but Brandon Medford's going to go to the bottom and try to take it away from Troy Radford.
Yeah, and looking out for the cookout, as they say. You wanted it, you got it. We're going to go trackside for some sights and sounds here from Richmond International Raceway with our Turn It Up. love it when we get to bring the fans that. And caution has come out on the racetrack. Looks like the 19 of Rick Reiner involved in this latest one as the field begins to slow to a crawl to wait for that Ford Mustang pace car. We'll take a look back here, see if we can't see what happened with that 19 machine of Rick Reiner. He's got his car headed in the right direction. Here we go. Let's see what happens into turn one. Looks like flipping that yellow line just a little bit sideways, overcorrects and hard into that outside wall. That's gonna be some very heavy damage. Hood flapping in the wind right now for that 19 of Rick Reiner. So after hard contact, he's gonna have to bring his machine down pit road, and we will rejoin the race leaders at the front of the field behind the pace car, now back down on the pit road.
Dave, I don't know if something happened there, but Travis Arthur has got a flat left front tire. I don't know if he missed out on that, but he can't get to pit road. He can't get the 86 car turned out. Looks like he's going to get there now, but he has got a flat left front tire and some heavy damage to the left front of that Monster Energy number 86 car as he hits pit road.
Not being able to find the camera to go back to Travis Arthur's view. Let's see if we can't get it now, and it looks like he's already in his pit box, so that's not going to do us any bit of good. Meanwhile, back up at the front, looks like we've had a changing of the guard once again here at Richmond International Raceway. David Smith Jr. now slotted in that top spot. Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. in second. Brian Mescal Jr. out there running in third after early hard impact. His crew was able to fix up that Mountain Dew Arca Menards Chevy K&N Impala, or Chevy Arca Menards K&N Impala, however you want to say it. Yeah, no, I can't say it. I'm going to confuse myself.
I'm telling you what, before we went to crank it up, if you were watching the scoring loop, man, Roy Hyde turned into a man on a mission. Now, it looks like somewhere in between all that mess, he lost the momentum that he had, but he was going under into the second spot and hunting down the leader, but it looks like his thing sort back out. Looks like he's give those positions back.
Yeah, it looks like Roy Hyde going to slot into the 7th starting position for this latest restart here from Richmond International Raceway. And you know what? I'm curious. So let's see a little bit of the pit strategy. There you see it on the screen for you right there down on the right-hand side. Looks like David Smith Jr. Oh, and then contact. David Smith Jr. trying to, I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but contact with the inside wall and now on pit road. So that's going to give the lead of the race to Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. And Thomas, he's been out there for about 14 laps on his tires. Brian Mescal Jr. has been out there for almost 30 on his. So look for Hilton, Ping, Radford, and Hyde to get around these top two fairly quickly, because that is a lot of time on old tires.
Yeah, not sure exactly what happened there, but it's definitely going to shake things up as we stack them back up 2 by 2. And Brian Mescal Jr., Thomas Quattlebaum going to be out front. Lights are out, 77 laps complete now. And Dave, we get to that part of the race. Everything's been somewhat calm so far, but now we're creeping towards the big money part of this evening.
Yeah, halfway through tonight's race as the pace car ducks off. Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. hits the loud pedal, and away we go. Not a good restart out of that 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. as he already drops one spot. Now looks like a lot of drivers looking to grab a position away from him as well. Troy Radford looking to the inside, now pulls even and past that 33 machine. Dustin Ping going to try to follow through. Brandon Medford right there as well.
Yeah, you would think, oh, the caution flag has come back out again. Caution flag towards the tail end of the field, it looks like.
And we've got 3 cars around back here in the rear of the field. Jason Edmonston, Ryan Ewing, as well as Ryan Wilson, all involved in this latest incident. We'll back it up. Take a look at it on the replay. Oh my goodness, you see just in front of these drivers, 19 of Rick Reiner. Oh, and the 12 goes flipping. My goodness, that was, whew, that was nuts. Let's look at that one more time. There you see the 12 getting loose, contact made with the 13, I believe, and around he goes, and then, oh, nowhere to go for Edmonston as the 12 is flipping down the track. My goodness, that is tough and hard. Now the 13 backs up off of the wall, hits the rear end of that 71, spins him around once again. Big cluster back here in the back after that latest caution.
Dave, I don't know if you noticed it on that restart, but I noticed it from front to back. Business is picking up as we now come to 80 laps in the books of this 150. Samantha Mills 150 for, of course, liver disease. We are getting into that crunch time. You've seen some drivers take some pit strategy. Now you've got a guy up front that's kind of ahead of the fast cars that we've seen so far and putting them in dirty air. We're starting to see some of the cards that these people are going to play tonight as, I guess you could kind of say you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Right now we're seeing the adjustments going to be made, hopefully take these drivers to victory lane tonight.
Well, I guess a driver that's got some dark shades on and a great poker face is that 93 of Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. He has yet to hit pit road. Long time out there on his tires, and he is going to try to, I guess, go all in once again here on this restart as he stays out and continues to lead today's race. The Samantha Mills 150 for liver disease. Man, my tongue is just not cooperating with me right there during that little moment. But, yeah, anyways, field still under caution. Man, Cody, over half of the race already in the books. We've seen calm moments. We've seen very busy moments. And I think those busy moments are just going to get busier.
Oh, yeah. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here because it's going to be interesting. I'll give you some stats on Quattlebaum. First start, last race. This will be his second start. He has no career top 10s or top 5s. That means no career wins. He's leading right now, coming to 82 laps complete here at Richmond. Sometimes you just got to go for the gold, so to speak. And right now, he's out front.
Yeah, I mean, with short track racing like this, you never know. This strategy could pay out. We could get another caution here in the next 5 to 10 laps, and then that could bring the majority of your front runners back down pit road. So it hasn't been a total loss, but it is definitely a roll of the dice. Brian Mescal Jr., he lost some spots. He went from second now to fourth after staying out for the past 2 cautions. So another driver electing to try to stick with the track position. We'll just have to wait to see how that gamble pays off as the field double file once again down the back stretch. Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. set to restart the race one more time as the pace car enters turn 3, getting ready to make that left-hand turn and get on out of the way. There it goes. Quattlebaum waiting to get on the gas. There it is. Green flag flies. Once again here at Richmond International Raceway. Good restart for Quattlebaum Jr. as he's got the lead by about 2 or 3 car lengths heading into turn number 1. Now coming out of turn 2, looks like Hilton trying to close in. Dustin Ping gonna slot into that 3rd spot.
Top 4, nose to tail. Now Roy Hyde make it the top 5. Side by side, Brandon Memphis, Eric Blunt. They fight for the 5th spot. And now here comes Hilton. Hilton to the inside of Quattlebaum. He's trying to make the move off of turn 2, has the momentum. Still not able to do it. It's a drag race down the back straightaway and into 3. It looks like it's going to be Tyler Hilton taking the lead.
The preferred spot into 3 for Hilton. Looks like he's going to slide up out of 4 in to the race lead once again here at Richmond International Raceway. Now Dustin Ping looking to the inside of that 93. Going to take that spot away. Brian Mescal Jr. getting rooted up out of the bottom. Roy Hyde going to make the pass on him. Eric Blount right there trying to duck into the inside on turn 3. He's going to be able to do it. Now Brandon Medford looking to follow suit as well as Mescal Jr. now falling through the field on much older tires than the drivers around him. Roy Hyde right there. Great run through the center of 3 and 4. Or that's actually through the center of 1 and 2, I should say. Now looking to the inside of Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. on the exit of 4. Getting the third spot to Hyde as Blount looks to follow through into 1.
Yeah, Quattlebaum has pulled out the parachute. Right on, a dangerous moment for Brian Mescal Jr. He bobbled on that yellow line, and here comes the freight train. Not to quote Johnny Cash, but I hear the train coming. Now it's Brian Littleton, Thomas Light, and Brian Snare. This could put Brian Mescal Jr. well out of the top 10 by the time this train starts roaring through.
Yep, Brian Littleton sitting in the 8th spot. Brian Mescal Jr. in 7th, but he is stuck out there on that high line, and he has gotten multiple cars looking to take over the spot down there on the inside. Thomas Light now looks to follow Brian Littleton through, but Mescal Jr. back to 8th. Brian Snare right there as well. Chris Medford, he's made a recovery after pitting late under one of our latest cautions. He did give up a lot of track position, but now knocking back on the door of that top 10.
Looks like Brian Mescal Jr. needs to send Thomas Light a Christmas card. He let him down, let him back in line, and that means Thomas Light is going to pay the price. Here comes Brian Snare. He'll dive underneath him for the 9th spot as we have 91 laps in the books of this 150-lap main event here from Richmond.
Yeah, playing a little bit nice with a lot of laps still left to go as the caution flag flies once again. Looks like the 38 of Derek Robinson may have been involved in this latest incident as we see him getting the car corrected, headed back in the right direction. So let's take a peek back with our turn 3 replay. There you see the 38 just in front of David Smith Jr. Looks like he was getting a little bit loose, and around he goes off of 2. We'll take one more look at it here. See if we can't see anything different. Don't believe there was any contact there. You see it, no contact being made by that 08 of David Smith Jr. Just Derek Robinson getting a little bit tail happy coming off of turn 2, and around he goes. Going to rejoin the field back up at the front, and it looks like Tyler Hilton, Thomas Quattlebaum Jr., Brandon Medford, a lot of drivers heading down pit road this time by. Dustin Ping, Roy Hyde, Brian Littleton, Brian Snare, and Troy Radford all going to stay out on track and gain some track position. And man, oh man, Cody, with that being said, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break once again. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Stay with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We will be right back. again. Field back under green flag conditions. Dustin Ping with a great restart. He's got Roy Hyde just behind him. Brian Littleton in tow as well.
Battle down the back straightaway, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all side by side. If you're looking for Tyler Hilton, he's battling right now in the sixth spot. Side by side, he's looking almost into Thomas Light. What a dangerous moment there for what was our previous leader. Now he's in contact into the outside wall. Tyler Hilton, and the caution flag flies. Dave, I looked at you just a minute ago. I said, man, that's a risky pit stop, and he's into the outside of the turn one wall.
Yeah, caution flag flies once again here at Richmond International Raceway. And sorry, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're having a little bit of technical issues trying to get them all worked out. Unfortunately, not going to be able to bring you the replay of that latest incident. But, man, I tell you what, cautions do breed cautions. And look at that, we've got a front clip sitting on the track out of turn 2 right there on that yellow line. I'm sure that has something to do why we're under caution once again here at Richmond International Raceway. Man, Cody, if things ramp up anymore from here, I'm not sure we're going to have a lot of green flag runs. Looks like drivers are going to start doing what they got to move to the front.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it looked like him and Thomas Light were side by side. It looked like he might have got in. Whoever got in there, it was a darker colored car, got in a little too hot, washed up into the left rear quarter panel. But as long as the Hilton car is okay, he didn't fall back too far, believe it or not. He's already still in ninth. But man, oh man, you take that pit stop, you put yourself in a danger zone with 100 laps in the books now.
Yeah, we have reached the witching hours, so to speak, as the lucky dog David Smith Jr. going around the front of the field. We have got this time by only 50 laps remaining. And you know what that's like. That's like a short track, super late model style of a race. Not a lot of laps. It's time to go out there and get it. But you also got to keep the tire management in the forefront of your mind. You go out there and you abuse these tires in the first 10 laps, and you're going to find yourself in some trouble towards the end of the run should we stay green flag all the way to the end. Looks like race trends show that we should have another caution within the 15 lap to go mark. We'll just have to wait and see if we stick to that race trend or if we create a new one here tonight from Richmond International Raceway.
Well, when you take a look at the top four, there's a lot of laps led in the top four. There's also some young guns. Dustin Ping, he's only making his 7th start in the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series presented by Light Electric here tonight. He's only making his 7th start. Then you take a look at Roy Hyde, his 33rd career start. Troy Radford's 22nd career start, but Troy in his career coming into tonight had led 903 laps. So Dustin Ping, you've got a very good group of drivers behind you. It's all up to you to hang on. And oh, by the way, Dave, here's Brian Littleton creeping up into the top 3 again.
Yeah, we're starting to see those the drivers from the previous season start to come back to the forefront of the field. As you mentioned, Troy Radford with almost 1,000 laps led. And keep in mind, that's 1,000 laps led last year. Last year was the first year for the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series. So Radford, one of those very fast drivers week in and week out, was always up there sniffing for the race win, walking away with multiple podiums in last year. And he was one of the drivers chasing after that championship when we got to the championship race last year, unfortunately coming up just a little bit short. So Dustin Ping, a little bit of a rookie, but he has got a lot of experience and a lot of talent lining up behind him for this latest restart. Pace car lights are out. Field double file heading into turn number 3.
Dustin Ping, Roy Hyde on the front row. 50 laps already in the books, 103 of 150. We get ready to go back green, and on the loud pedal, Dustin Ping wastes no time. What a restart. He's out in front of Roy Hyde and Brian Littleton, your top three as they dive into turn one.
Great restart out of Ping, but Roy Hyde noticed it and was on the gas very quick. Gonna keep that second spot without any issues. Radford a little bit loose coming off of turn two. That's gonna put Brian Littleton just to the inside and in front of him now as Radford secures that fourth spot. Don't look now, but Chris Medford now back inside of the top five, looking to try to take a spot away from Troy Radford.
Yeah, that battle right now raging for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth is a dogfight as those cars slide into turn three. Oh, almost the bottom of the racetrack. Troy Radford trying to get up on the back bumper of Brian Littleton, and the caution flag is out. Caution flag will fly. And I do believe Ray Radford maybe might have been part of that. Thomas Light. Looks like Thomas Light up against the outside retaining wall.
Yeah, trouble for your pole sitter late in tonight's race. Thomas Light goes around. We'll take a look on the replay here, see what happened. Light looks like everything's fine going down the backstretch. And oh, Gordon Larson Jr. hot into turn three. Contact and around goes your pole sitter, Thomas Light. We will rejoin the front of the field up here with Dustin Ping. See if he brings the field down pit road. No. Brian Littleton going to be the first car onto pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step away for just another brief commercial break. I do apologize, but we're going to get these technical issues fixed this time. I can assure you that. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Back trackside once again here at Richmond International Raceway. Ladies and gentlemen, should have those technical issues and bugs worked out as the field double file once again. Dustin Ping gonna have to get off to another great restart. He's got that 00 of Roy Hyde just to his outside. We'll see if Hyde can't get the lead. Hyde with a great restart that time.
Dustin Ping leads the charge into 1 and 2. Now on the bottom, Chris Mefford. Roy Hyde to his outside. Roy's going to try to get momentum. He's going to have to get down, or he's going to be on the outside looking in, as here comes Tyler Hilton. He's on the charge, and he's back up to 4th in the caution flag.
Big crash, Cody. Big crash. Adam Novak involved in this one. Jason Edmondson, Derek Robinson also involved in this latest incident. We'll take a look back with our turn 3 replay. Here you see the 44 run in the middle of the track. Looks to be all right. Oh, and the 71 gets loose, goes into the outside wall. That collects the 44. More drivers slowing up. Gordon Larson Jr. almost collecting a few other cars. My goodness, that could have been a lot worse than what it was. So heck of a job. Hats off to all of those drivers making it through that melee as we rejoin the front of the field back behind the pace car once again, coming across the line this time by 4. Lap 113 out of 150 scheduled here tonight for the Samantha Mills 150 for liver disease.
Yeah, Dave, and right now Dustin Ping is wasting no time in that Blackhawk Motorsports number 1. Once that Ford Mustang gets off the pit road, he is on the loud pedal. Damon Cox, this last time, was caught by surprise, which gave Chris Mefford the open door. Now they're going to swap. It's going to put Chris Mefford to the outside of Ping. Roy Hyde's going to come up to the inside of row number 2, and to the outside of him will be Tyler Hilton. But so far, Dustin Ping has been a go. As soon as that iRacing Ford Mustang pace car gets off the racetrack, you got to think there's some scenarios to that, and he very well could be laying back on one of these restarts coming up.
Yeah, whoever's in second is going to have a keen eye and a quick reflex, because I think this may be one of those okey-doke moves, as I like to call, you fire off, and then you wait a little bit longer, maybe get that outside lane to jump a little bit on the restart, and then when they got to let off, you nail the gas and away you go with no problem. So look for maybe some games being played on this next restart. Looks like a little bit of mind games being played right now by Dustin Ping, looking like he was gonna come to pit road. Not gonna do it though, gonna stay out on track behind that Ford Mustang pace car. And man, I tell you what, Cody, we're under 40 laps to go, and I don't have a clue who the clear-cut winner may be. I do know one of the fastest drivers on the track is lining up inside that top 5. Hasn't been outside of the top 5 very much tonight. Tyler Hilton, look for him to try to make his way back up through some of the traffic and try to regain that race lead.
Yeah, and if there's a car I would like to highlight on that has been kind of quiet all night, it is that number 45 of Brian Snare. Snare in the Black Falcon Racing Machine. He has creeped into the top 5. We haven't talked about him the entire race. He's just kind of been patiently saving, working through the field, but he's into the top 5. This could be a big race for him.
Yeah, and as you said, very quietly has made his way up into the top 5. I don't recall saying very much about Snare here tonight. He's just slowly but surely, methodically made his way up into, I don't want to call it the important spots, but the point-paying spots up there at the front of the field, now slotted into 5th position. And look back a little further, a driver that we seen just up in the top 5 not very long ago, Brian Littleton, as well as Troy Radford, both of those drivers outside of the top 10, now looking in. So look for those two fast drivers to make some moves as well as the pace car begins to bring the field back to turn number 3. We will get set to fire this thing back off once again. Dustin Ping, your race leader, taking the inside and on the gas early once again. Great restart on the outside by Medford. He's going to keep the front of his car right there near that rear quarter of Ping into 3, hanging on him. Not going to be able to make that outside lane work as Roy Hyde catches up to the back of them. Drag race into 3. Medford looking to the inside, not going to have any of it. Ping slams the door shut, back off of 4 to the line.
Dustin Ping showing the way, but the perfect restart from Chris Medford to give him a almost shot at the lead. That almost could turn fortune. They're nose to tail coming out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Up into the outside wall is Tyler Hilton. He slows up. He's going to allow Brian Snare to go by and Brandon Mefford. But the leaders are nose to tail as we put lap 18 in the books.
Lap 118 in the books now. Lap 119. Oh, Cody, you kill me sometimes.
It is out. I was looking out of my left eye and only seen the 1.8, so 119.
And it looks like Brian Littleton and Troy Radford may have been involved in this latest round of incident. We'll take a look back, see what happened here. There you see Radford just to the inside, right behind. Oh, almost synchronized spinning there off of 4. Check that out. We'll take a look one more time as these drivers try to do their best Camping World Truck Series imitation. Both drivers loose off of 4. That was 2 separate spins meeting up in the middle. We'll look one more time at it right here. Littleton getting loose, Radford getting loose. There they touch. Not hard impact, no harm, no foul, I do believe, for those drivers. Luckily, Littleton able to lock it down, not slide up in front of anybody on the track. And, man, I think we may have seen it all with that one. 2 separate spins at the same time, ending up meeting up with each other right there at the infield grass.
Anything can happen when you turn the lights on here at Richmond Raceway, and the driver that has dominated this race, Tyler Hilton, finds himself on pit road. He got into that outside retaining wall coming up at turn 2. It shoved him all the way back to 7. His crew going to work on the outside of that machine, trying to straighten out some fender wells. But right now, Dustin Ping's in the driver's seat. But, Dave, we were talking a few minutes ago, a little bit of a cat and mouse game. Chris Mefford, well, he was right there to pounce when Ping took off on that restart. And I'm telling you what, it almost paid off on the outside going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, almost paid off, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Not going to be able to be enough here for a race win. You're going to have to go ahead and pull it off. Almost isn't going to cut it. And I wonder, knowing that Mefford got such a good restart there, if this is the restart, maybe that we see some of those games being played by Dustin Ping. And I mean, you got to keep in mind, maybe Roy Hyde's been timing it as well. If Ping decides to go a little later, that could cause a little bit of contact on the restart. Roy Hyde could potentially lift those rear tires off the ground for the 1, and it could spell trouble. So we'll just, we'll have to do what all the fans, friends, family, viewers, stopper, buyers, comers, goers have to do. We're just going to have to wait it out and see what happens ourselves.
Well, I can guarantee you something. We are way past lap 18, so I'm going to fix myself there. The next thing I'm going to guarantee you is we're going to see a new winner on the second season of the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series presented by Light Electric. We are going to see a new winner because last week's winner is not here. Tonight, our points leader, Steve Baker. So, Dave, we're going to see somebody new go to victory lane as we get ready for the finish of race number 2 of this 2020 season.
Yeah, and actually looking through the top 5 and almost through the top 10, we do not have a lot of previous winners through that entire top 10. Lance Yancey winning a race last year. Roy Hyde, I believe, went to victory lane last year. Not quite sure. Brian Mescal Jr. also going to victory lane last year. So only 3 or 4 drivers inside that top 10 that have visited victory lane here in the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series. So it looks like we might have not just a first-time winner here in season number 2, but a first-time winner for their career here with the RFC NEXTGEN K&N ARCA Menards K&N Series as the field begins to get double file. Pace car lights are off field heading into turn number 3.
Dustin Ping, Chris Mefford, side-by-side, row 1. Brian Snare, check this out. Inside of him, Roy Hyde, row 2. Pace cars in, aha! Dustin Ping waits, on the loud pedal. He's going to get the advantage by about a half a car length, but Chris Mefford dives underneath him. He might have the momentum. Check this out. He has the preferred line going into 1.
preferred line going into one, but oh, big pile up behind your race leaders, Brian Snare, Brandon Medford, Ray Radford, all involved in this latest incident. My goodness. Brian Snare, as we said, was having a great race, now caught up in a late race incident. We'll back it up, take a look with our turn 3 replay here, see what happened as the field makes their way down and into turn number 1. Oh, contact with that 83, and around the 45 goes. And that is going to put us under caution once again. We'll take one more look at that. High above here from the blimp cam. There you see the 45 turning in just a little bit late. The 83 getting to that left rear quarter. Around he goes. Damon Cox, nowhere to go. He gets involved. Ray Radford gets involved. My goodness, a lot of cars caught up in this latest incident out on the track. Some of the drivers, unfortunately, nowhere to go, not being able to pull their cars out of the way or bring their cars to a stop before being collected in this latest one. But you gotta look at that restart by Ping. Man, he is on it.
Yeah, Dave, he is. Look at some cars on pit road. I got the binoculars out. Brian Snare, a ton of damage to the right front, but I think he's okay. Brandon Medford's car, the front end of that Chevrolet, is all crushed in on both sides. Crew's going to have to do some fender work all the way around that 83 machine. Brian Littleton looks like he's coming off pit road looking okay in that Michelob Ultra number 80 car. So it looks like most of these drivers are going to get back on the racetrack. Brandon Medford looks like he's the one that's going to suffer the worst. Also some damage in that 47 of Ray Radford. But Dustin Ping, we talked about it, Dave. He's been playing some mind games, and that time he tricked Chris Medford into patiently waiting, but it almost didn't work out for Ping by the time they got to turn 1.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those tricky drivers like Dustin Ping out there playing games from the restart. I mean, it's all fair. There's nothing sideways going on. He's allowed to start the race when he wants once the pace car ducks off until the green flag flies. So if the flagman waves the flag before he decides to fire off, then that's a whole different scenario that we'll need electronic scoring to keep up with, because my eyes just ain't that good or that fast. But I do know drivers sitting in 3rd and 4th. Roy Hyde sitting in 3rd. Brian Mescal Jr. sitting in 4th. Both of those drivers very hungry, really wanting a good run here. Brian Mescal Jr. caught up in some trouble in race number 1 at Iowa, so he is looking to turn his luck around on the season, early in the season, only here in race number 2, but you never want bad races back-to-back. And after early trouble, and we seen Mescal Jr. driving with the hood up against the windshield, he has found a way to recover and up inside the top 5, going to line up second car outside row in the 4th position for this latest restart. Man, oh man, I tell you what, Cody, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty. 20 laps to go when we take the green flag this time by.
Yeah, Dave, and I want to point out Douglas Wasaki in that 34 car. It's Samantha's ride. This is a race for liver disease awareness. He's got that machine. You want to talk about a feel-good story? He's up into the 6th spot as we get ready to go back green. Side by side, we've got our top 2 stacking up the field. Dustin Ping, Chris Medford. They've been playing mind games. The Ford Mustang pace car gets ready to pull in. Dustin Ping's on the loud pedal, and this time he's going to have the advantage by a half a car length, make it a 2-car length advantage going into 1. A lot better breathing room, Dave.
A lot better room that time by. Maybe Medford thought he was going to wait just a little bit longer, but Roy Hyde right there heating up Medford's rear bumper, looking to the outside, drag race into 3, Medford with the preferred position.
Roy Hyde going to try to make it stick out of turn 4. He washes up the racetrack. He dials back in, but in the meantime, Dustin Ping hunting for his first career win. He's got 19 laps to go here at Richmond.
19 laps to go, and almost a half a second separate your first place driver Dustin Ping back to Chris Medford. Roy Hyde right there on the rear bumper of that 84. Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. making an appearance back up inside that top 5. Brian Mescal Jr. dropping a spot.
Hard contact in turn 4. Sorry about that, Dave. They were stacking up the entire back of the field.
And it looks like the 98 of Thomas Light, Troy Radford involved in this one as well. Gordon Larson Jr. also involved. We'll take a look back once again with our turn 3 replay. 2 and 3 wide on the entry of turn number 3. Didn't pan out and work so well. We'll take a look again. High above from the blimp cam. There you see a stack up on the outside lane. Thomas Light looks to the inside. Oh, more cars involved. Oh, man. That is just a melee and nowhere to go for Radford. Absolutely blocked on the track and into some heavy damage for that 49 of Radford. So tough break for him. That's going to more than likely put an end to the day for that 49 and his crew.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because that car, Dave, we talked about it earlier. He had went from the back to the front, to the back to the front, and now unfortunately it looks like that 49 car may be going to the garage permanently. But we said it earlier, we had a long green flag run to start the race. Caution started falling, and now with what'll be 16 laps in the books this time by, who is going to be able to get to victory lane? Dave, this kind of has that build. It's going to be whoever survives.
Well, it's going to be whoever survives and whoever has the freshest tires, I believe. None of the front runners electing to come to pit road this time by, as we've only got 16 now, make it 15 laps to go. But looking at the tire strategy, and because we had those technical issues, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that because that is not right at all. But nonetheless, the tire strategy here, Dustin Ping out there on a little bit older tires than some of the drivers behind him. However, he has been able to keep control of the race lead on these restarts. So, yeah. I don't know. To me, I would go down and get the 4 fresh tires. I think if you get 1 or 2 of the front runners to come with you, you'll get the majority of the rest of the field to come down as well. And with green-white checkers also looming in the air, I'd really want that fresh rubber, just so I can abuse the Jesus out of it if I need to.
Yeah, and another thing, you need to be looking at fuel. I mean, fuel in these cars. Now some of them pushing well over 40 laps, I do believe, in fuel, as we're getting ready to go back green. And you mentioned the overtime. That has to be in the mind of these crew chiefs, because if we start going into extra innings, so to speak, the fuel's even going to be more of a calculated crunch.
Yeah, and, well, I don't want to say the race trends here in the cave are always accurate, but would you looky here, latest caution coming out with 16 laps to go. That was only 1 lap outside of the race trend window, so looks like we are trending right where we usually are. And with that being said, the final caution usually flies and brings us to a green-white checkered. We'll see if the drivers keep up with that trend or if we stay green till the end on this one. Field beginning to get double file as the Ford Mustang pace car lights go out once again as we work our way around turn number 1 and 2. 13 laps remaining, 12 when we go back. Green flag racing here from Richmond International Raceway for the Samantha Mills 150.
Side by side again, Dustin Pink, Chris Mefford. We've said it multiple times because these two have literally been on the front row for the last 4 restarts. They're going to do it again. Ford Mustang in pit road, waiting. Pink's on the loud pedal. This time, he'll leave Chris Mefford. Here comes Roy Hyde. The 00 trying to make a move for second. Not going to have any room going into turn 1. Now he's going to make room. They're side by side. Chris Mefford, in contact in turn 1 up against the outside wall. Douglas Wasaki.
Yeah, Brian Littleton, Damon Cox, Ray Radford, Chuck Mobley, Thomas Light, Brandon Medford, Rick Reinert, all involved in this latest incident. So we'll take a look back, see what happened here. 3 wide into turn 1, and that is never good at a place like Richmond. And there you see just a parking lot of cars working their way into turn number 1. Let's look at it one more time from a different angle. There you see 2, 3 wide, and Eric Blount way down on the apron on the entry there. Let's back that up, take one more look from the blimp. As you see the dive in almost into that inside wall. And Blount catches Wasaki, and that catches a bunch of other drivers as well. My goodness. Tempers flying late in the race, and the gap's getting much smaller. And we've got a new driver up there to battle with Dustin Ping on this restart. Roy Hyde able to make the pass on Chris Medford. So that's going to put Hyde into the second place outside row for this restart.
Yeah, it is, Dave. And Chris Medford to third. Thomas Quattlebaum, he is in fourth. Brian Maskell Jr. fifth. And now Lance Yancey has jumped up into the sixth spot. As if you're curious, caution-wise, that is our 13th caution. That's what I've been jotting down here on my little notebook. I've got 13th caution of the night. We started out this race in about a 24, 25-lap green flag run. And since then, these drivers have been battling caution flags throughout the race here tonight at Richmond.
Well, you know, a driver that maybe might not mind seeing some of the caution flags fly, and that's your race leader, Dustin Ping. Yes, it brings the field back up to him, but if he's able to keep the lead for a handful of laps, the caution comes back out. He can click off a few more laps, maybe work himself into a green-white checkered situation. Then all you've got to do is make it around one time to see that white flag fly. Then the next flag to end the race will be the checkered flag. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there for Dustin. You kind of don't mind the cautions, but you mind them.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. 51 laps. He's been able to lead. A lot of these laps, Dave, have came off of cautions. He's simply just been out front and been able to stay there because of those cautions. Tonight, track temp, 66 degrees. Air temperature, what a night here at Richmond Raceway, 63 degrees. Not a bad evening at all. Race fans have been treated to a lot of fun. And you know what? 7 laps to go when we cross the line this time by, and we're creeping towards that trend of possibly going into overtime. And as I talked about a little bit earlier, that's when you need to talk about some of the fuel strategy. These drivers up front, are they worried about fuel? Do you have an opportunity to save anything? If you're anybody right now in the top 5, Dave, I don't think you could save anything right now.
Yeah, saving is out the window. Once you get into the 20 laps to go, even if you abuse the tires, if you got fresh tires for the 20 to go, that is, you can pretty much beat the out of them. I'm just going to leave that, let you guys fill in the blank however you want. But you can pretty much just wear the daylights out of the tires, and it's not going to be that bad by the end of the race. And right now, I mean, with the old tires, as many heat cycles as we've had, look for some possible wheel spin on this latest restart. Pace car gonna duck off. Ping on the gas once again early. Bring the field back. Oh, not a good restart. Spinning the tires that time. 3 wide going into 1. Medford looking to the bottom.
Medford to the bottom. Contact. He's going to send Ping around. No, Ping saves it. No, he doesn't. Into Roy Hyde. Man, oh man. Calamity corner in turn 2. And our leader, Dustin Ping, into the outside wall.
Yeah, absolutely crazy little bit of a restart there. We'll back it up just a little bit, see what happened as Roy Hyde involved in this latest one. There you see Roy out there on that lane, almost a third lane out there. Contact between the 84, more contact. Dustin Ping tries to save it into the outside wall, collecting Roy Hyde. And a little bit of connection issues during our replay there. Do apologize for that one. So we will rejoin the field live back at the front as Chris Medford will start the race. from the first spot after a great restart. Looked to the inside, was able to take the spot away. My goodness, things are getting a little bit hairy out there.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the line is now razor thin as we approach this time 3 laps to go. And Dave, I do believe the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series officials may send this one into overtime. We'll see if we can get everything sorted out before the lights go out on the pace car, but we may be headed to overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly what we're looking at here. And it looks like having a little bit more of those issues going on for us. So we're going to step away for just a brief moment. Make sure we bring you some great action at the end of the race. Looks like things starting to finally calm themselves back out. Just as I say that, there it goes again. So we're going to step away for just a brief moment. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Back trackside, 2 laps remaining as the field comes back across the start-finish line. This time by gonna get the 1 to go. Chris Medford leading the field. Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. right there in second. Crash behind, big crash. A lot of cars involved in this one. We stay heading towards the finish of the race, and it looks like caution flag gonna fly. And we will get set to fire things back off one more time here in the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series, brought to you by Light Electric Company here at Richmond International Raceway for the Samantha Mills 150 for liver disease. And Cody, my man, green-white checkers, man, oh man.
Yeah, I was trying to talk. I had the wrong button pushed. We have a button that we have to use on our mics, and I was sitting here just talking away to nobody. But trouble for Thomas Quattlebaum, but it looks like timing and scoring is going to keep him in second. It is. It's going to keep him in second because he was not the reason for the caution. What a break for him as we still see cars pacing around the racetrack. It looks like, well, there's the fireworks, Dave. Could that be the conclusion? I believe it is.
Yeah, I believe that is the end of the race. Only one green-white checkered attempt here in the RFC NEXTGEN K&N Series. So when that caution happened there coming to the final lap. That was going to put an end to the race as the 84 of Chris Medford walks away with race number 2 win in the bag, celebrating on the front stretch. What a finish of the race. My goodness. Some chaos, some carnage, but all in all, a great race there. You see some congratulations from Brandon Medford for Chris Medford. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step away, get things set up here at the track for your post-race interview. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Back trackside here at Richmond International Raceway for your post-race interviews here at the conclusion of race number 2. The Samantha Mills 150 for liver disease, and my goodness, it was one heck of a race out there. Walking away with the race win, the driver of the 84 machine. Gonna get the job done, get to victory lane. We'll see if we can't get in a brief word with your race winner, Chris Medford. How you doing? It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy. How you doing, guys?
Doing pretty good, my man. Walk us through a little bit of your race, a little bit of that, those last few restarts there.
Well, the last few restarts, I was on the inside. I couldn't even tell you how many restarts to go, about 6 of them, 6 or 7, before I got up front. And Dustin was firing off as soon as the pace car was pulling off. So when I got to his outside, I knew that's probably when he's going to fire off. And we had a pretty good battle going on. I got underneath him once on one of the restarts. I let him have it. And so this last restart, well, I guess 2 restarts ago, he must have slid up, sliding his tires going up the track, and I was, stayed to the bottom, and I got underneath him. I slowed down so I didn't blow the corner, and from my view, it kind of looks like he pushed up and then tried to pinch me, and we just made a little bit of contact. I'm not sure if that was the caution or not, but it was definitely a fun race before then, though. It was really good racing once we was going green.
That it was great racing all race long. Myself and Cody up here just enthralled with some great racing action all over the track. You ran up front, got behind, then you made your way back up to the front. So congratulations. Great way to finish the night in victory lane. So before we let you go and celebrate and spray the champagne, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Absolutely. A couple weeks ago, I picked up Race for Riley. It is the John Andretti, or the Andretti Racing, one of their charities they run or support, and it's pretty huge because my niece is actually in there right now. She had her she broke her arm and the bone poked out and her ankle was messed up. She's got another surgery on Tuesday, and then she should be able to come home. She's been there for over a week. So I'm going to give a shout, to everybody at Riley for taking care of her, and just all the other kids, in there. That's just, awesome. Shout out to my teammates on Falcon Motorsports. Tyler had a heck of a run. Brandon was strong. Tom was strong. Troy had a little bit of mishaps, and Doug is always good, like he always is. Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks, Jax, for everything she does, and happy belated birthday for her. So it's just it's finally fun to get this monkey off my back in this series for sure.
Well, man, once again, congratulations. Great job, and we'll catch up with you in 2 weeks when we head to Atlanta. Man, what's your thoughts looking forward to that one?
I always liked Atlanta. It was kind of funny because me and Doug was talking a little bit earlier. We actually, in these cars before it's probably been about 2 years ago, we was racing in this RFC series only. And I was actually pushing Doug down the backstretch to get his first win in RFC. We was kind of laughing about that, not knowing that Atlanta's next. But Atlanta's a fun track. It's a fast track. A lot of tire wear can happen there. I just hope there's not a lot of caution so we can race it out and have some fun.
All right, my man. Well, we will catch up with you in 2 weeks when we hit Atlanta.
Thank you. You guys take care, and happy early 4th of July to everybody. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. I know the world's in a dangerous place right now, but everybody's just good. Just take care of yourselves.
All right, well, there you have it. Some few final parting words from your race winner here today, the 84 of Chris Medford, and I believe, I mean, don't quote me on it. I'm not always right, but I believe Cody has had the opportunity and chance to catch up with the driver finishing in second here today, Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. Cody, you got him?
Yeah, Dave, I do. Black Falcon Racing, Motorsports, happy Tom Quattlebaum. Man, let's talk about the finish. If they handed out maybe the lucky award, you had a little bit of trouble coming off 4. The caution comes out due to an accident behind you, so timing and scoring keeps you in second. I know that's not how you wanted to finish the race, but, you got to have some luck on your shoulders every now and again. And, man, you got your first career top 5 in the RFC NEXTGEN ARCA Menards K&N Series. You got to be tickled with that.
Oh, I am. I wasn't in a little bit of trouble. I was in a lot of bit of trouble coming off of 4. I was trying to keep up with Chris and hoping maybe he'd make a mistake into 1, and I ended up making a mistake off of 4. But yeah, you're right. I didn't hit anything, and the caution came out, and it's kind of saved me there. So I'll take it. I don't get a lot of luck like that.
Well, man, this is one of these races we kept seeing you move up to the front, and then we'd see you drop to the back. We'd see you come to the front. Lady Luck shine there at the end. Not the way you wanted your race to go in Iowa, but you come here, you get a runner-up spot. Really good points day for this 93 machine as we get ready to take the 4th of July break and then go to Atlanta. Talk about your plans maybe for Atlanta in a couple of weeks.
We'll do some team testing, and Troy and Chris are really good there. These Falcon guys set the bar really high, so I got a lot to live up to here being on this team. So we'll put in the work and see if we can keep it clean enough to finish the race.
Well, Thomas, you got a very special paint scheme on that car. Tell us about the folks on that car and some folks you want to give some shout-outs to.
Yep, I'm on the hood there. We got saluting the veterans. I'm a veteran myself. I was in the Marines for 6 years. But my car sponsor is hashtag Conserve Georgia Ale by Line Creek Brewing Company, and that's special to me because $1 out of every 6-pack they sell goes to the Southern Conservation Trust, which is the cause I normally run.
Well, Thomas, we appreciate you sharing with that. Most importantly, we thank you for your service to this country. And, man, congratulations on your first top 5 runner-up here at Richmond, Thomas Quattlebaum Jr.
Oh, man, I'm excited about it. Thank you guys for having me, and like to thank Troy, Chris, Brandon, Doug, and Tyler that runs us all, and also got a shout-out for Victory Junction Gang Camp as well.
Our runner-up finisher, Thomas Quattlebaum Jr., second place here at Richmond. I think Dave has gathered our third-place finisher to wrap up the podium, Brian Mescal Jr.
Yeah, trying to see if I can't get all the radio channels right and everything like that. You know how it is with me sometimes, Cody. I'm not the brightest light bulb in the shed, but nonetheless, looks like we've had an opportunity now to catch up with. Oops, that's not the right one. There you go. That's the right one. The third place finisher here today, the driver of that 33 machine, Brian Mescal Jr. It's Dave and Cody in the booth. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Man, that was a hard-fought third place.
Yeah. Walk us through early in the race. Wasn't gonna pull it out of the bag, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. How in the world did you make it around the track with the hood up against the windshield?
I have no idea. I did not see that on my screen.
Oh, buddy, you got involved with some a little bit of trouble there with Lance Yancey and your hood. It was up against your windshield. I don't know how you were doing it, but early trouble in the race for you, nonetheless, and walking away with a great finish, a podium finish. Man, that's got to feel good.
Yeah, it does, and I'm super proud of the team with Lance and Brian Littleton with all top 10 finishes. I mean, after what me and Lance went through there, I mean, it was just a racing deal, but we all came back and had pretty solid finishes, so I'm super proud of the team.
Well, man, I know we have the off week next Sunday night. We're not going to be hitting the track, still enjoying the 4th of July celebrations, but walking away with a podium finish here at Richmond, a tough track. Does that give you any glimmer of hope or momentum that you can carry into Atlanta when we hit the track in 2 weeks?
Man, I sure hope so. I got lucky several times tonight, missing a couple big ones, and just got up there and was able to keep the front end on it after the first ordeal. So just kind of got to get lucky in these deals, man.
Well, as my as my good buddy Larry Mack likes to say, sometimes it's better to be lucky than be good, and well, that played out to your advantage here tonight. Being lucky was a little bit more of the deciding factor, so to speak. Had to come from the back after early trouble, but still finishing with a great spot here, third place. Brian, man, before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, anything like that?
Absolutely. Thank you guys for what you do, and my wife for letting me do what I do, and of course, Jags for my biggest fan.
Well, short and sweet and to the point with all of his thank yous and love yous is Brian Mescal Jr. in that 33 machine, finishing in third here. Man, Cody, what a night out here that we've had here at Richmond International Raceway. Sponsors got their money's worth, that's for sure. Light Electric Company, 946 Designs, RFC, NEXTGEN, Jekyll Controls, all of the sponsors that are behind the scenes making the things work here at the RFC NEXTGEN Arca Menards K&N Series. And Cody, man, it was one heck of a race all night long. Man, oh man, I don't think I could pick out one deciding factor or one big moment in the race that changed it. There was small moments all night long.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dave. If the rest of the season is going to be like the first two races that we have witnessed so far in the RFC NEXTGEN Arca Menards K&N Series presented by Light Electric, then me and you are going to have to we're going to have to take some extra vacation at the end of the year, because it has been exciting. Last race we had a bump and run, so to speak, off of turn 2 on the final lap. This week, we have drivers come to the front, go to the back, come to the front. We have another incident at the front of the field that cost a driver who led over 50 laps. This race tonight really set the stage for the week off as we celebrate America's birthday. And then, Dave, we're going to go to our first big track of the year. But this big track we're going to has more personality than any track we've been to so far, and that's the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which means it's going to be the drivers against each other, and they're all going to be fighting the worn-out pavement at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, going to be one heck of a show when we hit the track here in 2 weeks at Atlanta Motor Speedway here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And my man Cody, not much left for us to do except give the guys and gals watching what they want, and that is your unofficial race results here today. They look a little something like this, walking away with the race win. Here tonight, the 84 of Chris Medford. Coming home in second, the 93 of Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. Third place, the 33 of Brian Muskell Jr. Fourth place, Lance Yancey, and finishing in the top 5, Jimmy Hetrick. Sixth place goes to Eric Blount. Seventh, Douglas Wasaki. Eighth place, Derek Robinson. Ninth, Brian Littleton. In 10th, Dustin Ping.
Finishing in the 11th spot, as I just now seen the board go off of the top. Let's see. Go on and pick up with 11th there, Dave, and then I'll come back here in just a second.
All right, Jason Edmonston finishing in 11th. 12th is Brian Snare. 13th, Ray Radford. 14th, Roy Hyde. 15th, Adam Novak, finishing in the 16th position. Chuck Mobley, and in 17th, Tyler Hilton. 18th position will be Damon Cox.
19th, Brandon Medford. In the 20th spot, David Schmidt Jr. 21st, it was Thomas Light, the quickest qualifier of the evening. And 22nd, it was Gordon Larson Jr. 23rd, it was Ryan Ewing. 24th, Troy Radford. In the 25th spot, it was Travis Arthur. In the 26th spot, it was Rick Reiner. Ryan Wilson in 27th. Joshua Cogdill in 28th. 29th, Travis Pryor. 30th position, it was Brandon Cobb. And rounding out the field in the 31st spot, it was Michael Mason Gill.
Well, that pretty much does it from myself as well as Cody up here in the Turn 3 Racing Network production booth. Do want to thank everybody back behind the scenes, whether it's the guys and girls back at Turn 3 Racing Network, my good buddy beside me right here, Cody Early, or Jags, who does so much for this league. Do appreciate each and every one of you, especially you viewers that come by each and every week, whether you're friends, family, or just random stopper buyers. We do appreciate each and every time you join us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And for myself, Darkside Dave, in the cave here in Turn 3 Racing Network production booth with Cody Early, stay safe, stay loved, till we see you again. Yeah, we gone.